In this talk, I'm gonna be having some fun. So just bear with me. This is not the regular talk. I'm gonna be doing some crazy stuff. And it's a way to start the day with energy, okay? And I want to know from where different countries are you coming? Just to get an idea of if you are traveling from far away. Who is coming from the US? Okay. Who's coming from Europe? Anywhere in Europe? Who's coming farther than Europe? Oh, okay. Just one person. Okay. Well, I'm Gerard. I'm originally from Barcelona, and I've been living in the UK for at least a decade. And I'm a Google developer expert. And I'm not going to tell you what that is because it's a little bit magical. And you can come later and ask me. Here you can see me in another keynote. And this is in 2023, like 2 years ago. And I was talking about what if AI could do your job. Now we know that we didn't lost our jobs. So that's a good thing 2 years later. I'm an international speaker, and I've been all over the place. This is my 210th talk. So a little round of applause for this. I'm the founder of Next AI London, and this is a new community, and I'm trying to build something unconventional, mixing technology and art. And this comes from my background in Web3. I don't sell NFTs, I'm sorry. I'm also the founder of Axiom Masterclass, and this is where I provide premium training around Google AI technologies. Oh, just notice the happy faces here. This is not AI, by the way. This is a real workshop I did. Okay, so I'm going to start with a very hot question. Stochastic parrot or AGI? Don't answer me. We can develop this question and see where everyone is sitting. Just get comfortable. So what is a distribution? And I know I'm talking to developers, and maybe there are a few ML AI researchers in the room, maybe not. But I'm going to try to explain what's a distribution. Maybe I'm a little bit crazy. But this is what it is. So if you see this picture, you can imagine as these little balls as the tokens. And these tokens, when they happen together, they get dense. The frequency gets dense. And this is how this exercise works. And this is how modern AI works. But that simple process comes with some issues. And one of them is the bias. And I'm going to try to, with an example, show you. So I want to think about a number between 1 and 10. Just think about it. Don't tell it out loud because you're going to influence your neighbors. And I'm going to ask you to pick one number. And now I want you to raise your hand if the number that I show is the one that you picked. Okay, who picked number 7? Okay. Let's try another number. Who picked number 10? Okay, 2, 3 guys in the room. Okay, very good. So this is an important lesson for you. They did a study, and this is a psychological effect, just because the number 7 has some history, some baggage. 7 is the lucky number. 7 is the times that you drink coffee every day. And if you see, in that study, the probability that you would get a 7 instead of a 10, it's going to be 10 times. So that's bias. The bias is in the data, and somehow we are not aware of this bias. Sometimes we know, sometimes we don't know. And this is how you can visualize it. If the answer goes inside the distribution, you are good. If you try to go outside of the distribution, you are bad. That's not good. What's the problem here? If you're using HR, you're using AI for HR, and you somehow have a pagination of 10 candidates, and somehow you look historically, and always the number 7 got picked for the job, you are in big trouble. So be careful with distributions and bias. Another problem with modern AI is what it's called the out of distribution, which is exactly what I showed you before, but when you try to go outside. Here I show you 2 examples that maybe you have seen in social media. And probably the easiest to understand is the clock. When you do a picture of a clock, it's usually on this time 10 past 10, because it just looks nice. Of course, when you train a model, it will be more dominant. It will be the most frequent clock image that you can imagine. Of course, if you ask for 9:15 or any other time, it will default to the most probable image, which is the 10:10. That's why when you use AI, sometimes it defaults to a repeat pattern, and that's exactly what you need to be careful about. Another thing that is becoming more clear is what is called context contamination or distribution drift. And this is a very simple example. You ask for what's the best football player, and of course that's going to come with one distribution. We all know that Messi is in the top. It could be first, second, depending on how you phrase this question. But of course, you never would thought that just by adding a random phrase, I have a friend from Lisbon. So what's happening here? Lisbon is going to drift the distribution, and it's changing the best football player from Lionel Messi to Cristiano Ronaldo. And this is what happened. The distribution was Messi because was the dominant token in the distribution for the best football player in the world. I used Lisbon, and then I shift. I mean, this is a proper jailbreaking. So you need to be very careful. When you are using AI, you need to not only think that you are doing the right thing, but you need to understand how things are working, not to be in this kind of a scenario. As you can see, I use a lot of memes. I don't know if you are getting the idea here, but you can come back later. So here is the main question. What is an AI agent? I'm going to be talking about a voice agent, but let's go back to a basic AI agent. And I'm sure that you are all engineers, so maybe this is too basic, but just in case someone is coming without this knowledge. An agent will have access to tools and APIs, and this is how MCP is built on. And here the example is the Gemini app, and it has usually access to many tools. Some of the most common are Google Search, a Python sandbox to execute code, and function calling. You can develop that idea and go into a multi-agent system, and then define a goal and different agents. Here, there are 4 different agents that work together to achieve that goal. An example of that is Gemini Deep Research, and it works pointing to one topic, and then the multi-agent system will go around, do a search, integrate the results of all of these different searches, and create a document for you. So that's a good example. This is usually the reaction of the people. I see that engineers are not easy impressible, okay? Gemini, let me show you a little demo because it's a new way of interacting with chatbots. Usually we are used to be on a text chat window. This is now a different environment where you are talking or you are showing. Let's see how that works. This is, by the way, the Gemini app available for iOS and Android.
Hello?
Hi, I'm Gemini.
Hi, Gemini?
How can I help you?
So I just talk?
Yes, but normal. Just talk normal.
We can have a conversation about anything you like.
Huh, anything? Can I ask you silly questions?
Tell something spicy without tasting it.
Have you tried smelling it?
Ooh, the wrath
Achilles.
That's right.
Yes, I knew it.
Next question.
So it's like a treadmill for hot dogs?
Exactly. The hot dogs are getting all this exercise. But
I don't want to go to the gym.
why don't you just go for 10 minutes and see how you feel?
It's so far.
Give me another one, but more intense.
Simpler?
Snappier.
Like I've never fixed a car before.
Make it sound professional.
In regards to working this weekend, we believe it's important to prioritize our well-being.
Oh, that's good.
Very professional.
Can I interrupt you?
Of course you can
And you'll
interrupt.
just stop.
時には立ち止まってみることも大切です。
Does the child seem ready for bedtime? No. Try looking for a small round bolt somewhere on the oil pan.
Got it.
And then I looked down and I had spaghetti fingers.
In dreams, noodles can represent creativity.
I don't have that.
Don't worry, just add a teaspoon of vinegar instead. And that's the premise of the Fermi paradox.
Wow, that was like super helpful. Who are you talking to?
Say hi, Gemini.
Hi there.
Okay, so this is a little bit of how these interactions goes. Obviously, I wouldn't recommend to do a lot of the things that are shown there. Just be careful when you are using AI in that way. But Gemini Live offers you 30 natural voices, 24 languages, and it works in a different way. It just opens a session that goes between 2 and 15 minutes. And this is because there's a big bandwidth. Of course, this is a streaming, and that means that you can stream your camera, you can stream your and your phone if you want to ask questions about what's going on in your phone and things like that. It's a different way of using AI. Here, for example, you can see how you can point to a machine and it will point exactly what are the buttons that you need to use for the coffee machine. And this is exactly what I'm going to demonstrate later, the robot cafe. And here there's also another thing that goes well with MCP, which is the integration with all of the tools and all of the ecosystems that go with Gemini Live. All right, let's go. So let's focus on AI voice agents. We covered AI agents. Let's see how we can build different use cases with this new capability. So there's real time, and this is what I demonstrated with the video, and this is called native audio. That was just released last week, and you have a very good latency. Of course, that's going to be very important in your use case, and that's going into 200 milliseconds to half a second. Then the next stage is when you are doing interactive, and this is when you are still in the chat window and then you move back and forth, but you are waiting for an interaction or you are triggering that interaction. You are not in a stream. And then, of course, there's the on-demand, and that maybe you have seen it in Notebook LM. You can create podcasts with multi-speakers and create that with this option, which is text-to-speech. Of course, this is offline, so you will trigger the action, get the recording back, and then you can play it back to your users. So let's go and see how the interaction works for common tools. So for a Google search, what we will do is add the tool as part of the prompt. So the prompt will go with the definition of the tool. Then Gemini will run the tool and gather the results, aggregate that into a final answer, and go back to the application where the user can read the results. What it gets more complicated is in function calling. And what we will do is add the functions that we want to execute. And then Gemini will decide what is the best function to run for that query. So that's going to go two ways. One way is Gemini will see that it has already the answer, so it can give the answer straight away. Or it will run the function, and it will come with the signature. That will be the name of the function and the arguments. You will have to execute that as part of your application. So this is the part where we run the actual function. AI is not running the function on its own. It needs the application to do that. So once you handle that, you need to hand back the control back to Gemini with the result of the function, and Gemini will give the final answer to the user. This is a little bit convoluted, but this is how it's working at the moment. One benefit of MCP is that it sorts out all of these cross-reference between the different models and the different tools, and it makes this very easy. This is a demo, but I don't think I have time. You can come back later. I will share the slides. Just make sure that you scan the QR code at the end, and you can come back later. Okay, let's go into the demo. So what are voice-first use cases? These are the cases when we don't have UI and the voice is driving the interaction. And there are a few cases which this is very pattern, and some of them is having AI answering phone calls. And this is giving your customers 24/7 access to your system. And the best way to do that is using AI voice agents. Of course, you could think about making the calls, but making the calls in some places is not allowed. And you need to be careful because you could be also spamming. It's the equivalent of a spamming, but making calls. So what I'm going to focus in my demo is Robot Cafe. And I don't know if you have been traveling around. Maybe you have found this in an airport. So it's basically a whole size box. And there's a robotic arm inside. And it's just for, I mean, it's probably the most expensive coffee machine that you have seen. But it's available there in many airports around the world. And this is what I'm going to focus. What I did is create a massive prompt, which is not a good practice, but is what I'm going to use today to demonstrate. And this is more or less what it's doing behind the scenes, just to show you how capable these models are and how many different situations they can handle. What I did here is I just went into Google AI Studio, which is available for free for any of you to use. And I'm going to have a conversation like if I was a customer on one of these robot cafes. I'm going to use this microphone because it's a little bit better to the performance. But that's what all I did. I created a massive prompt. I'll go very quick, so you cannot screenshot it. I have it on my Gist, so it's public anyway. So let's try. Hello, good morning.
Buongiorno. What can I get for you today?
I think I'm feeling cappuccino assassino.
Ah, the cappuccino assassino. Un caffè per fare il pieno. Anything else with that beautiful creation?
Eu gostaria também chocolate quente.
Va bene, un cioccolato caldo, un conforto per l'anima. Anything else for you today?
M'agradaria també un tallat.
Certo, un cortado, piccolo ma potente. Anything else for you today?
I like if you could answer in a different language.
Parli italiano adesso? Posso rispondere in italiano, nessun problema. Anything else for your order?
What about in Deutsch? Sprichst du Deutsch?
Oké, wat kan ik nog voor je doen? Iets anders van het menu?
Een café bitte.
Zeker. Welke speciale koffie wil je graag? Een espresso, americano of iets met melk?
Das ist alles. Sehr gut.
Dan heb ik een bestelling van 1 cortado. Klopt dat?
Keine Ahnung. Can you repeat in English, please?
Okay, you wanted 1 cortado. Is that correct?
Yes, that's fantastic.
Great. I am sending your order to the barista now. It will be ready shortly.
Okay, so that was a little demo which worked really well. So here you have a QR code. If you want access to the slides and any other resources, feel free. There's also a full stack project using Angular and the latest versions of everything. So that's ready to grasp. This is the happy dance. Once I finish in a good mood. And I hope I was able to inspire you. And yeah, hope you have a fantastic day.